Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of November 20th, where this week it's kind of nice. We're starting the week actually with this first quarter moon kind of energy. So it is a week where I'm saying as we're getting in and we're getting started, there is this energy of, yeah, do it, try it. Let something old fall away so that you can try and take action on something new. Because we've really been dancing in between this space between the old version of us and the new version of us, the old version of the world, the new version of the world. So kind of taking some nice ownership as to where I can take action and move something forward. And it might even be that I'm trying to move something forward kind of in like a trial and error kind of way. So whatever that looks like in your life, I look forward to talking about it. Now, before we jump in, remember that the 2024 digital transit calendars are up. They are ready from our friends at Wise Skies Collective, and you can click in my description box down below, get a little coupon for all the Stormie Grace tribe for your own digital transit calendar. And kicking off in January, come and join me at Synchronicity University. And that's with our beautiful friend Nadia Shah, where I will be teaching some lunar node astrology. I look forward to having you. All of the details to that in the description box down below as well. All right, beautiful friends, into the week we go. So first of all, here on Monday, the 20th, I do love it because we've got this first quarter moon and it's happening at 27 degrees of Aquarius. So you're going to want to locate that 27 degrees of Aquarius in your chart and see, do you have a planet? Do you have a point? Do you have an angle? Do you have an asteroid if you work with them? Do you have a fixed star if you're into that, right? Like what do you have at 27 degrees of Aquarius? Now, also, back up 9 months ago to when we had the last moon happening in this Aquarian energy here, because what's happening is that at the new moon that we had in that last 9 months ago, something you were planting seeds of intention in this Aquarian vibration, saying, okay, over time, I'd like to try this. I'd like to take this on. I'd like to bring something new into conscious reality. And now what's happening is you are on the other side of that. And it's like, yeah, try something different. You asked to build this thing. It's here now. So we need you to take some action, because at first quarter time, it's not the time where we're thinking about all of the things, thinking about how we feel. It's action. I am in action. I said I wanted this thing. I'm not talking about it. I'm being about it now. So at that particular 27 degrees of your chart, what was it? What was going on for you? And if all you can do is identify which house that sign is for you, you can still look into that department of life and say, oh, this was in my second house. I said I wanted to build something around my finances, or this was in my 12th house. I wanted to work on something in my spiritual practice. So whatever the housing was, you can look at that area and get a pretty good idea of what this particular first quarter vibration is trying to get you moving on. Now, we have also got that first quarter moon in a square over here to the sun in Scorpio. So we've got a fixed square is what's going on. So under a fixed square, neither side wants to move, right? That Scorpio energy says, nope, I'm not budging. I know what I'm doing. I got it right. My intuition, right? And then we've got this Aquarian energy that's like, well, I'm not moving either because we need to do something differently. We need to innovate. So you've got these two energies kind of bonking up against each other. That's why I say, especially under the vibration of first quarter energy, try something different. If you've been doing something the same way over and over and over again, and it's not getting you the results that you want, try something different on this particular day. Now, the other thing I do like about this Aquarian energy is that because it's an air sign, it is of the intellect. So literally what you could do is watch a new piece of content or read a different book, or do you know what? I have had some real awakening because just actually reading the instructions to something I was doing, putting together or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, I didn't have to suffer through that as much as I was. So whatever it is this new action or this new information that can come in and help you, definitely get on board with that. Now, as the day goes on, we're going to see the sun comes into a sextile with Pluto, and this energy is phenomenal because it's a power energy. Okay, it's a power energy. So first of all, it is a personal empowerment energy because the sun is where there's light, heat, life, and vitality. You're motivated to shine under this Scorpio sun energy. You're like, no, I know my intuition. I know my story. I know what used to be a liability to me and that it's an asset today, right? There's this energy of I know my transformation. I trust my transformation. But what we're looking at in this sextile to Pluto is not only that the transformation has happened, right? Not only that your next version of yourself is living, but beginning to listen very intuitively and very vulnerably to what this next version of you is actually trying to walk out. So I think that on Monday, when we're looking at the combination of these energies, it's really like you may be taking action based on a version of yourself that is different, right? It's not the same version of you that was here a year ago. So you're having to do something different because the old version of you would have done it like this. But the new version of you is like, that simply is not going to work, right? Or maybe the new version of you is asking you the deeper question, why are we doing that? Why are we not doing that? Why are we still doing that? Why did we stop doing that? And it's kind of putting you in this position to have to take action on answering the question, which will then navigate your movements. It's really kind of a sweet energy. Now, we're also going to see later in the day that the moon gets into the energy of Pisces. So if you have a moon in Pisces, you're working your way into your lunar return. And if you haven't had a chance to check out my lunar return video or get your lunar return report, you're going to want to do that because the way that your lunar return shapes the next 30 days of your life could be really, really life-changing, especially in terms of how you're going to navigate things emotionally. It can set the terrain. So make sure you check it out. At least nothing else, check out the video so that you can understand what the lunar return is. For the rest of us, as the moon moves into Pisces, we start to ask this question, first of all, about what do I need to surrender? What needs to emotionally come to culmination? But the other question I see you asking at this time too is, do you feel like your spiritual cup, your spiritual emotional cup is full? Or do you feel like it's draining? You've got leaks in your energetic space? Do you feel like in your bowl, right? Your sacred pelvic bowl, do you feel like you've got energy leaks going out and you've got to create some stronger boundaries here? This can be a great time to be doing that review of that particular energy, okay? Now, we're also going to see here, Mercury and Chiron are in a trine, but I still think that this speaks a bit more, you guys, to more of this exploration, because with Chiron here in Aries, you're not looking at life through the wound anymore, right? The wound may still be there, but you see yourself, you see a situation vastly differently than you did 6 months ago, a year ago. So you're taking actions not as the person who's been harmed and not as the person who's been, you're not in the same position. So the other thing I would say is like, whatever Monday brings up for you, listen to your intuition, listen to your heart, listen to this new vibration that may be guiding you as this new version of you, because it's really the thing that is speaking, I think, from the depths of you, especially if it's something consistent, right? Spirit will always tell the truth, and Spirit has a lot of patience while you discover that it's Spirit speaking to you. The mental fight, the thing that's going on in the mind and just the pure ego will say it has to happen right now. If it doesn't happen, we're not okay. And it creates all this fear and this anxiety. So try and listen with the heart and the intuition as we're traveling through Monday, okay? Now, when we get to Tuesday, first of all, we've got this Mars-Pluto sextile. And I like Mars-Pluto sextile. It can be a lot. It can be a lot, but we've got a Mars-Pluto sextile that is on the table for you to work with. So first of all, you've got the ability to do things. You've got the ability to do transformative things, right? Your focus, your energy, your attention is where it needs to be in order to bring about the change. Now, we do still have Pluto in the vibration of Capricorn, so what you could be doing or you're needing to bring your attention to is to actually build something that can sustain you long term. That's the Capricorn vibration. It's earth. So earth means I'm building something in the material plane. So whether it is a building, a business, a plan, some kind of structure that will sustain you long term, to include self-discipline, whatever it is, you've got a really nice amount of focus to go ahead and go for it during this energy. All right, on Wednesday, we say happy birthday to our Sagittarian friends as the sun moves into Sagittarius. So happy birthday. And like Scorpio season, where we're down, we're in the depths of our motives and what's happening down here beneath the surface so that we can bring it to the surface and bring some transformation to it. And Sagittarius season, we're coming up, but we're on the escalator, we're on the up, right? But with the truths that we've gathered from Scorpio season, we're now able to broaden our horizons, learn more about ourselves, have a different level of faith, gather and collect and hold new information. And we typically can do it in a way that's a lot more optimistic. Before Scorpio season, it's like something was maybe changing in your life, or there's something you needed to do, right? And it's like, I really don't want to. There's this resistance to the change. And then we go through Scorpio season, and it either gets really painful and it's like, I got to let this thing go, right? And you start to understand why you were holding it so tightly in the first place, or something is revealed to you at a deep level, whether it's something painful, something passionate, something exciting, whatever it is, there's a revelation during Scorpio season. And from that really deep place, you're like, I want to know more. I want to expand my horizons. I want to learn how to do this thing because it's what's going to take me forward, And it can almost be in Sagittarius season, an energy where you're kind of hungry for new knowledge. So whatever that is for you that is going to expand your horizons, I look forward to hearing about it in the comment section down below. But we welcome the sun into Sagittarius, so whichever house in your chart holds the Sagittarian vibration, this is like its annual celebration. While the sun in Sagittarius people are having a birthday, this area of your chart is getting lit up for its annual review, its annual need for your attention. And again, you're going to want to shine here. You want to shine confidently. You want it to be big, bold, and beautiful, okay? So very busy energy as we get there. Now, we're also going to see here, we've got Venus in an opposition to Chiron at this time. Now, as Venus is opposing Chiron, again, the opposition could be going like this, right? It's pulling. And what we want to do is find the sweet spot in the middle. Where does what Venus is saying and what's Chiron saying meet in the middle? So one of the things I want to just share with you here is that whatever you've learned, whatever horizons you're ready to expand and to go to next, the process of learning what's next is not always easy. Sometimes it is so humbling, and I think of this example, if it's like, well, I've had the same job or the same career for 20 years, and now the world is changing, and I have to learn to make my way in a completely different workforce, in a different work culture, in the digital revolution, and I'm willing to do it, but I realize and I'm overwhelmed because there's so much I don't know. Or if it's relationships have never worked out for me, and now I'm understanding that I really didn't understand what was going on in the dynamic of relationships, and now I feel like I have so much to learn, okay? Venus opposing Chiron here, I'm going to tell you, be sweet to yourself. Be sweet to yourself. You have got to be kind to yourself. You are working with a new identity, and you are working with probably new partnership. You have to have some partnership to teach you, to show you, to walk you through what's next. So at this place where we can see Venus and Chiron meet in the middle, where you're like, yes, I'm just new here. I don't know. I'm green. Let me be teachable. That's how we find the sweet spot in this particular opposition, which I think is nothing but good. Now, if you're exhausted from all that humility, which sometimes we are, really, the moon's going to go void, of course, before it enters into the vibration of Aries. So enjoy your void of course time. We've got about 2 hours in the early morning, okay? Then the moon moves into Aries, and we've got a fire moon. Right? First of all, where do you need to do things for you? Where are you not putting yourself first? Where do you need to look at this? Or where has your emotional capacity just gone selfishness like haywire, Because this can really go both ways. You can absolutely take this show both ways. But the other thing I just think of is, first of all, what are you doing to care for you? Are you putting yourself in a position where you're going so much? It's so much me, and you're going to reach this fiery burnout. Are you in a position where you've had so much to say for so long that as soon as somebody pops into your space, whether they deserve it or not, you're going to like fire off at them, like they're going to get the fire hydrant? These are things that you want to be mindful of. But to the other side that is very happy, very healthy, I think that when we're talking about the fire part of this Aries Ram energy, it's like emotionally, you get to kind of be like an Aries, and a Ram says, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to go through it. So if you want to start a new project, if you want to move in a different direction, if you want personal change in your life, this is the kind of energy where we need a little bit of this, I deserve to live, damn it, kind of energy. That's the Aries vibration. I'm gonna live, damn it, right? So whatever that is for you that has you a little bit fired up and motivated over the next 2.5 days, I would say go for it. Go for it. I mean, obviously be safe and all of that stuff. Okay, late in the day, going into early Thursday, we're going to see the sun in a square to Saturn. So this is, I want to be motivated to grow and to shine my best life, but also I am running into Saturn, the timekeeper and the placer of limitations. Now remember, Saturn in Pisces has said, not only personally, but in the world itself, our communities, I have to stop talking about it and I have to be about it. And this is the place where I think that the very optimistic sun now in Sagittarius squaring against having to put some structure around this Piscean energy, the faith, the intuition, the everything's everything, everything is just love, right? Is like, no, listen. The world is out there. It is happening. You are not all ether. You have to pay your bills. You have to show up for your relationships, right? So it can be a little bit of a rude awakening where it's like, yeah, I want to expand all of my horizons. But to expand your horizons are going to take discipline and work, because likely in the expansion of horizons, you're walking into territory you don't know. You don't know it. So you're not going to demonstrate this like you've got mastery here. You're still learning. It's like crawl, walk, run. And at this particular energy, you might be at a crawl. So you're over here trying to walk, or you have this belief that I'm going to walk. And it's like, no, you have to stop talking about it and be about learn to crawl. Or maybe if you're walking, whatever the stage is, it's about hang on a minute. Yes, the vision, the expansion, the love is really great, but also you've got some things to learn here, so hold on. Now, what this can also look like is that somebody who's in a position of more authority, per se, is saying something to you, sharing something with you, and you really don't want to hear it because you think that you're right. You're like, listen, I'm good. I've been alive for 41 years. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing, right? It really gets to be the hand and the head movement, and we must be mindful of this. And maybe it's not that for you. Maybe you have your own more socially acceptable shutdown moments that happen, but it's still a means of like brushing off what someone else is saying instead of being able to receive it and kind of go, okay, I don't like that, but give me a minute to see if that's actually useful. Because the other way to test this is if something that you're doing that someone, whether it's in person, the government, the YouTube, whatever, if you're doing something and someone gives you some feedback and you consider, does this help me honestly take care of myself? Does this help me honestly advance myself? Does this help me honestly expand my horizons? If the answer is yes, then you might have to stop and look at that. Now, we saw this energy back in May. So did somebody point something out to you in May that it was like at the end of May, the 28th, I had to stop talking about it and I had to be about it. And now this is like coming back to your attention. Let me know what that was for you in the comment section down below. Okay, when we get to Thursday, now we've got Mars here in Sagittarius. So this is like it's moving and shaking. When Mars comes into a new sign, it creates a change of direction, a change of energy, right? The sun comes here, you're motivated, that's cool. But Mars comes and creates a change of direction and a change of motivation. So this too can be an energy that plays into a little bit of resistance of people trying to, or what feels like people, places, or things are trying to cap your horizons. They're trying to like put you in some kind of a container, and you're like, no, I want freedom. I want the expansion of horizons. And you're willing to do anything, Mars, that allows you to have this expansion. What I would encourage you to remember is that just like the archer or the centaur with the bow and arrow with Sagittarius, he's got to pull that bow back before it can shoot forward. And that's the message of Sagittarius, is one of the great truths is sometimes I have to go way back before I can launch forward. And here's the other side of it. Think of the vision like this. If the archer did not pull the bow back taut enough to get it some momentum to go, right? He or she pulls the little bow back and then it goes lame, right? That's not what you want. You want archer level progress. So sometimes you have to have a setback. Sometimes you have to have a breakdown before you have a breakthrough so that you can expand that horizon. But Mars can make you mad, right? You're a little bit mad. You got to back up before you can move forward. That's okay. It's fine. Setbacks with growth are normal. Now on Saturday, we're going to see that Mars squares against Saturn as well. And I would just say, when Mars and Saturn square, Mars is like the teenager and says, I do what I want. And Saturn says, no, my friend, you do not, right? We're bumping up against each other. So instead, you can use this as a really frustrating aspect, and things get heated, they get hot. There's like a fight to the death about things. There is, I am right. It can get real tense. Okay, and the square tells us that this is tense. There are things going on. We're doing something with the square. But the other side, I would say, this is where you learn that you have a little bit of stamina. This is where you learn that self-discipline doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. It takes action. It takes practice. It takes a crystallization in your insides that says, okay, I can push through. I have the endurance to make it through, and understand that self-discipline actually creates freedom for me, not chaos. So it can be used in two different ways, absolutely, certainly. Now, in a very mundane way, when we're looking at the global and mundane astrologies, this could be a day where, certainly in the news today and through Sunday, we can see things getting a little bit more hot, a little bit more heated. Tempers can flare. I would think too, this is just me, but I would think too, because we've got this square going on with Mars in Sagittarius, which is that expansive energy, but Saturn's over here in Pisces. As these two square against her, that like stories or situations or circumstances that come up with issues about water could be things that we start to see on the global stage. So pay attention to it. Stay hydrated in your own right. Make sure that you've got good water and all of those things that are available to you, okay? As we're going to close out the week here on Sunday, we've got Mercury coming into the pre-retrograde shadow time. And this is important to understand because it's coming into pre-retrograde shadow time at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So start to pay attention to what's going on at 22 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart, because between 22 of Sag and 8 degrees of Capricorn, this is going to be where the story is at and happening. Now, we're going to actually see this retrograde happening December 13th. But I want you to just start to pay attention now. What are truths? What are information? Who are teachers? What are the things around the law that are changing for you, that your chart is like starting to bring a little bit of attention to, because this will be a thing that we are going to work on. We're being shown right now how to work with that energy. Now, later in the day, the moon will go void, of course, and we will close out Sunday with the moon moving into the energy of Gemini. So this is a time where it's social. It's a more social moon. And you may be wanting to have more conversation. You may be wanting to make decisions or looking at decisions. Now, remember, the ruling planet of this moon, Mercury, just moved into pre-retrograde shadow time. So you may also just be emotionally looking back over really big plans or designs or things that you thought you wanted to have go on. And you're re-looking at those plans or the details, or you have more clarity or more discernment, or maybe you've even again brought in new content to show you how to do that thing, how to bring that thing to some kind of actualization. So whatever these plans and designs look like for you, make a little bit of space to also call in. The universe is kind and loving and here to help. If you say, listen, I'm really stuck on this, I don't understand this, please send me help for this. The universe is listening. So call it in if this is what you need at this particular time. All right, my beautiful astrological friends, I love you a ton. I hope that you are gorgeous and good out there. Please let me know what is shaping up for you in the comment section down below. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.